Geek Tank Radio, News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis.
Welcome, everyone. We are the Geek Patrol, and our microphones don't have a stun setting. This episode of Geek Tank Radio is brought to you by Mr. Pep's Caffeinated Puppy Chow. So your kids finally browbeat you into getting a puppy. Well, now it's payback time. Tell your children things are about to get real with Mr. Pep's Caffeinated Puppy Chow. So it's a nice blend of animal cruelty and child abuse, right? So I mean, good business model. It should go pretty far. Don't look at me that way.
Well, you have to understand, we have a friend that is trying the product right now this morning.
Yeah.
And I have already been getting text about the fact that, a pit bull puppy can reach Mach 10.
Absolutely. Yeah. So they're doing their part too.
I thought you meant that your friend was actually eating the product, and I know your friends. Some of them may.
What Scott does when I'm not around is not my business.
Just keeping the world interesting. Anyway, welcome to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmstead and Allan Gilbreth and Max behind the glass, and our buddy Allie Diggs, who's she's a frequent but not frequent enough contributor. Allie, you've been with us more or less the whole time. You're intricately linked with the Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention as well.
Unfortunately or fortunately, who knows?
Well, last week you might have thought, unfortunately. But so, hey, Brandon, we are going to do, I guess we're going to do a little recap of the MCFC.
We're going to do a little recap on MCFC. We're going to dive into it hardcore and then run far, far away from it.
Okay, yeah, because we deserve a break. We've worked hard all year. We brought it back. We didn't burn the hotel down. We pulled it off. Down. Now, later, you guys are going to do, you and Allie went and saw Ghostbusters. You're going to do we're just going spoiler heavy. Yeah, we're not waiting around, and I don't mind because I'm not worried if you spoil the movie.
And here's the great thing about it. If you don't want to listen to that segment, go see the movie and then come back and check us out on our podcast.
Yeah, that's the good thing. You don't have to listen live, although it's fun if you can, but it's not necessary if you want to avoid spoilers. I guess later, Allan, you invited Dan the Lego Man over here.
I did.
He's part of the Tigers broadcast. He's up, but very good broadcaster. But he's also a diehard Lego man. And of course, you're going to try to, get him to talk about cooking somehow. Which
I'm just going to try to weasel some Legos out of him.
Okay, good. Because I thought you wanted to talk about his barbecue prowess as well. But anyway, Dan will be dropping in.
That just means that we bring Dan back multiple times to talk about multiple things.
Yeah. So
and he can bring Legos with him each time.
Yeah. So it's all coming at you today on a Geek Tank Radio. So you guys, before we give our recap, I wanted to tell you something funny. Last weekend was the Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention. Geek Tank got preempted because of the Tigers broadcast, which, to be honest, Brandon, as hectic as it was at the convention, I wasn't sorry because I don't even know what that would have sounded like if we were going to record there.
What was really hilarious is we actually did, early on, we were going to do Tool Talk, and we had to turn people away. And then
people showed up in the morning to hear it.
They did. They wanted to hear you, and that scares me. But then we had people show up later on and sit in while me and Allan were talking, and you were resetting the stage.
I was moving chairs and getting ready for Joel Hodgson's thing. So, yeah.
Yeah, but, I mean, they got a good show out of me and Allan just, BSing through the whole thing.
Now, Allan, you could have turned the camera on or something, but...
we did.
Well, so one thing, let's just put it out there, Brandon. So we are, we're at the Memphis Marriott East, which, here's the thing. Okay, people, we've heard, there is no perfect venue in the city. That's just the reality, folks. And so we've been at different locations trying out what works, and we love for one thing, the Marriott is a really beautiful, comfortable hotel. It doesn't have quite as much meeting space as we're used to.
Right.
But we thought coming into 2021, it might make sense to ease ourselves in with not being in, and the folks over there could not have been nicer. They're just it's a beautiful venue, man. So.
I would love a lot more space, just take out one of those other floors and give me more meeting rooms.
Yeah.
But they've done us well. They've done everything that we've needed them to do and gone above and beyond for us.
Yeah, and so they were great. I love their whole staff. Even the general manager was glad that we were there. But it went really smooth. I will have to say, we had to give up on board gaming. We had to do a few things because of COVID.
Right.
We couldn't do our Lego lounge, so we had to compromise a little bit on that. But I have to say, this had to be the smoothest convention we ever did, and there was a real party vibe there.
And
People
I'm
seemed
going to
have a
say
good time.
that as sad as it was to lose the Lego lounge, the creation of the decompression chamber in its place. That thing never, other than when we used it for cosplay prejudging, that one place was never empty, and there was a constant flow of people in and out of there.
The decompression chamber, but it was basically a really comfortable lounge with water, snacks, and just this big place to chill out, charge your phone, which is what you need sometimes at a convention.
Two of the most amazing fans there running it, just to make sure everybody had a place to calm down.
Yeah, big shout out to Nicole. Wait, tell us the volunteers, because I don't know the other young lady's name. But
it's Nicole. Nicole. I can't even think of her last name right now.
Yeah, but Nicole had a helper. Who was,
that's her kid. Who is another Allie.
Okay.
That's her. That's Christopher Gossett's daughter.
Big shout out to Nicole and Allie. I got a couple other funny little anecdotes, and then we're going to let you dive deep into the Ghostbusters spoiler. You're listening to Geek Tank Radio here on News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis. We'll be right back.
Geek Tank Radio.
My son returns from a fancy East Coast college, and I'm horrified to find he's a nerd.
News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis.
Yeah, higher education doesn't always play out the way you want it. And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmstead and Allan Gilbreth. We got Max behind the glass, and we got our good buddy Allie Diggs, who, among other things, I don't know what your title is for the Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention because you wear many hats, but you were there running around looking great, representing the convention well. Allie, we appreciate you.
I do my best. That's what I'm there for. I got to be the high dollar eye candy.
There you go. Yeah, you and Savannah are great. They you'd much rather talk to them than us old fossils there.
Yeah, because I promise Brandon and I are very low dollar eye candy. I promise.
And yet we still draw.
Well,
you're the Werther's original.
So old people choke on us?
Well, I would love to give a big recap of the Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention, but a lot happened. I will say, I'm just going to put this out there. The random acts of art seemed to steal the show.
Oh my goodness,
that
went so well.
If you don't know what that is, folks, we had easels. It sounds funny. I think I spent like $50 to put this together, and it stole the show. We put out drawing easels. We put out tables. I bought some really nice paper, 11 by 17 cardstock, and we had a display area. And people came up and they drew pictures, and we displayed it.
24 hours a day.
24 hours a day.
That thing stayed busy.
It sounds remarkably simple, and yet that was really entertaining.
As much as I loved the whole setup, sitting there at 3 a.m. while people are drawing to make sure that everything is running smoothly, that's for the birds.
No, it was great. And I will tell you, if you get on Facebook, look up Frank Chin. He's a great dude. He always takes really great photographs. He put together, he posted about 170 pictures.
Yeah, he did.
And
almost
really,
200,
really good. Check that out. And we appreciate everybody's feedback. I think the majority of the feedback was positive. We had a few people that did miss some of the things we couldn't do, like gaming. But next year, we plan on bringing everything back and then some.
And I'll let you guys know, since I left the hotel on Sunday, I have been relaying out all of the programming space.
Right.
Which I haven't even given this to Joe yet, but I think I've maximized it to where we can get everything we love back in.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. The Memphis Marriott East is a great staff. It is a really comfortable and beautiful hotel. It's in a convenient location in East Memphis. We're going to basically maximize every square inch out of that and it creates kind of a party vibe there. So we're gonna make this work.
And I want to go ahead and give a shout out to anyone and everyone who ran an MCFC Underground event.
Absolutely. Yeah.
They went off really well.
Yeah. No, it was great. It was like I said, I think this was the smoothest.
I want to tell Scott Carroll that he can just maximize a block of time instead of, a different flyer for every 15 minutes.
And
Just saying.
one other thing I will say, you guys, I had vendors coming up to me and they said, "When can I sign up for next year?" They had some of them had their best show of the year. They, because we do try to take good care of our vendors, and so
I think
that
that's
was cool.
A good part of our convention is because we're in mid-November. A lot of people are buying Christmas presents.
Absolutely.
So I think our vendors always do pretty well.
Yeah, it was. I would say it was, especially with it being 2021 in the middle of the fact that we got to host the convention was a blessing, and we pulled it off. Everybody on the staff did a great job, and it was hands down the smoothest run convention. We had pretty much zero drama. It was great. So.
And I want to go ahead and give a shout out to the various new vendors we had doing their first con with us.
There was a bunch.
There were quite a few. It's like they got a hold of us early on in the year and basically bought out. We usually, take a little while to get full, but we do fill up. This was the fastest time I can ever recall our vendor room filling up when they found out we were definitely going to have the con. It's like everything went.
Yeah. I want to say one more funny thing, though, before we turn it over to the Ghostbusters discussion. I got a call from the Marriott yesterday, Brandon, and they said, "Hey, I know you rented," because I rented some pipe and drape, and I rented some a projector. And by the way, this is a free shout out. I rented it from Hicks Rental. They're great people over there. We've been going to Hicks for 10 years, and they always do a great job. But somebody, this was kind of funny. They said, "Your stuff hasn't been picked up yet. Normally they pick it up on Monday." So I called Hicks Rental, and I talked to Melissa over there, and she pulled it up, and she goes, "Oh my gosh, I think I see the problem. Somebody accidentally typed in that the pickup date was September of 2054.
Wait, so we get to keep this stuff till then?
That's what I'm wondering. I'm like, hey, does that mean what are the late fees looking like for that? But I thought that was funny. So don't type if you're over there at Hicks. Don't type with your glasses off. I suppose.
Yeah.
Put on your readers.
Yeah, be careful, guys.
That was funny, but they got it. They're picking it up anyway. All right. Well, enough of that. Thanks again to everybody that came out for the Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention. But Brandon, you and Allie came out for the Ghostbusters.
Yeah, we were there.
The new what is it called again?
Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Okay.
So
spoiler heavy, people.
Spoiler heavy. We're not really going to get that much into the spoilers because the emotional part is going to take a turn and put us both into silent sobs here in a minute.
Oh, did you cry, Allie?
I got a little emotional, but Christian cried.
Well, yeah, Christian cries a lot though.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, he
seems
as
like
long as
a tough guy.
But as long as I've known him, he's been a massive fan of Ghostbusters, and this was exactly what he was looking for. But I can also let you know that various other people got a little misty, especially me towards the end, and what scene I'm talking about. I'm not going to give that spoiler away, but
yeah,
it's very much a continuation of the original 1984 Ghostbusters. There's not a whole lot of connection to Ghostbusters 2. No connection whatsoever to the 2016 Answer the Call movie.
Huh.
This is how you do a franchise revival.
I was trying to figure out what that was. They're not creating a universe,
right? It hit every mark, and from the get-go, it's like you understand the people that you see, and I mean, right off the bat, you get Egon, Egon's death in the first 5 minutes of the movie, and I mean that right there, kind of rips your heart out, and then you find out, his family's coming to take control of his.
Yeah, and
somebody
forgot to turn
off their phone. It's been too long since I've been here.
All right. So, but how do they handle that? Because obviously, Harold Ramis is he passed away.
He's passed away, but you don't see his face. You can tell it's him by the profile and everything, but it's all in shadow. It's very dark.
Okay.
And you see Shandor Mining Company, which if you're a fan of Ghostbusters, Ivo Shandor was the guy who designed and built the high rise in New York that was going to be the gateway for Gozer to come through in the very first movie.
Oh, I forgot that.
So
that's kind of a deep cut, isn't it?
So all of this connects.
Yeah.
And I just want to go ahead and say that Paul Rudd as Gary Gruberson
did so good.
I
love Paul Rudd.
Everybody who doesn't love Paul Rudd.
If you don't like Paul Rudd, don't listen to my show anymore.
Turn in your human
you don't
card.
have a heart.
Yeah.
Right.
But he's a seismologist who's also teaching summer school in this town, and he's there because there's been really weird tectonic shifting. There's no tectonic plates. There's no fault line, no nothing. Yet this city, or this, I say city, but this little town is having daily earthquakes.
Right.
And it's because, well, the veil is starting to, open, and, Gozer's coming back.
Yeah. Well, Allie, hey, the vibe, though, the trailer looks nothing like the original Ghostbuster, even just the lens filters and everything. But I don't know. What did you think of that? Was that a problem for you?
No,
or no?
I really enjoyed it. I think it did a really great job at bridging the gap of like old fans, like servicing their desires for a film and bringing in a whole new generation of Ghostbuster fans. My boyfriend described it as like if Super 8 and Ghostbusters had a love child. And I would say
Dude, that is-
100% yes.
Yeah.
And Super
Dylan
8
knocks it out. Yeah.
I was like, Super 8 is one of my favorite films. And I was like, that's why I liked this so much. I think it's really hard to have kids be a main character, and it appealed to both adults and children. And they didn't sacrifice the innocent of the kids
Yeah.
because to me,
appeal to adults. They kept them as children, but still in an entertaining way. It was really nice.
Yeah, because I wondered if they were going to go for like a Goonies vibe or something like that, but it looked a little more serious than that too. So I don't know.
I think one of the things the original Ghostbusters did really well was it was a good blend of the action, suspense, and the comedy. Mm-hmm. And you get that here, but you've got it with a younger, target, and it works perfectly.
Yeah, like the jokes were still funny, but they didn't have to be crude. Like you didn't have to have a little girl tell you like a gross joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
in fact,
good.
the little girl telling the jokes is probably
So
the
funny.
cutest. It's
The
one of the
best
cutest
part.
things. But she tells jokes.
Some of the
you-
girl with the glasses.
Yeah,
Yes.
McKenna
I was
Gra-
wondering who stole the show. In
McKenna
this one.
Grace, who plays Phoebe, technically podcast. Logan, podcast
podcast.
steals the show, but Phoebe, she tells jokes that I think would make you giggle.
Yeah, they were very funny.
They were funny, but in
Well,
a
it reminds
very
me of
innocent way.
Zendaya in Spider-Man. Every time she says anything, she's the one that steals the
Right,
scene.
right, very much so. And it's one of those movies though that you go in and you're like, all right, let's see if they're going to ruin my childhood, and then you remember what it's like to be an 8-year-old kid sitting in a movie theater.
Well, that's what I wonder, because the vibe of the trailer, I got to be honest, Brandon, it didn't really do much for me. I'm like, this doesn't feel at all like Ghostbusters. But,
Well,
so-
I mean, I'll be the first one, and I mean, I did this exact same thing when 2016's Ghostbusters came out. The trailer that you got originally, when the original trailer for Ghostbusters dropped, is not what you get in the movie. It was just enough to go, I'm intrigued, I'll go buy a ticket.
Yeah.
And this did the same thing.
Okay.
And it also did something that Stranger Things hasn't been able to accomplish in 3 seasons, and that's make me like Finn Wolfhard.
Oh, I wondered.
love
He
because
was
Finn.
so good in this.
yeah.
he is annoying and strange. I'm like, I wonder if Stranger Things can win us back, because by season 3 I was just bored, and I'm like, I really don't
Insider
even
tip,
care anymore.
if you want the special cup, you do have to buy the kids' meal.
Yeah.
Okay.
They do not give special cups to the adult-sized drinks.
Oh, okay. That very, very intriguing comment. We'll leave it there. Yeah, you're listening to Geek Tank Radio here on News Talk 98.9 The Roar of Memphis. We'll be right back.
Geek Tank Radio.
Also, they told me you guys look like dorks.
They look like dorks.
News Talk 98.9 The Roar of Memphis.
I heard that all last week, you guys. And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio. I'm Joe Thorderson, here with my friends Brandon Olmstead and Allan Gilbreth and Max Behind the Glass and Allie Diggs and Dan O'Brien, better known as Dan the Lego Man. How many more people are we going to shoehorn into this place? So, Dan, hey, you are the broadcast captain for the Memphis Tigers Sports Network. Around Cumulus, though, you're Dan the Lego Man.
That's what I've been told. Everybody's been saying, yeah, Dan the Lego Man every single time I'm on the air with the Tigers. So I decided to come in and bring some stuff and talk about some stuff. How about that?
Absolutely. So, folks, Dan, this is a good lesson. If you ever come on Geek Tank Radio and you want to go to the front of the line, come bring the gifts like Dan did. Dan, here. Listen to this. That is what? Tell us what we got here. You brought in four.
I brought in a couple
sets, man.
sets and everything. I brought in an older set from Lego. because I've worked for Lego for, I don't know, 7 years or so, and they give us a Christmas present every year if you're if you work for them. And this is actually only produced for the employees itself.
And you want us to have that?
Yes, you can have it.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, Allie
So
pretty much,
excited.
Allie pretty much
Dibs
claimed it. And you'll have to pull it out of her cold dead hands. But you brought in four sets.
Oh, yeah. Ninjago, Hidden Side, that's a older series from us. Of course, Lego Movie. But Lego, there's so much stuff to actually talk about.
Well, let's talk about what got you in. All of us are well versed in Legos. My kids grew up on them. All of us grew up with them, I'm sure. Allan, you even use them in science experiments, right? I mean,
I certainly do. We use them for pre-builds.
There you go. Yeah.
They're also a very major part of the Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention because we usually have our Lego lounge with our giant build table
Absolutely.
and our Lego Car Derby, which will be returning in 2022.
Yeah, all of it's
That'll be
coming
awesome.
back. And Dan, we hope you'll play a central role in that. We'll be talking. It's called Bricks and Heroes. That's our Lego program. But how did you get? What happened with you? Because you're a grown man.
I'm a
still
grown
playing
man.
with Legos.
I'm a grown man. My previous job, actually, one of the things I actually did was I bought like figurines and collectibles for a store that I used to work at. I used to work at Spin Street Music at Poplar and Highland.
Sorely missed, by the way.
Oh,
What
yeah.
a great
I think
store that
everybody
was.
misses it here in city of Memphis. But for that company, for a while, I was the collector buyer. So I had a sense of Legos, toys, collectibles. And when this job came up, I just found it online. And so, yes, I'm a rep for West Tennessee, but I actually go out and do some Comic-Con stuff for them every now and again. So I do know that side of the world too.
I'm literally rubbing my hands together because Dan, we had, Brandon, I'm looking at you. You will remember back in the day, we had some great contacts with Lego, and they were really good about participating with our convention in Bricks and Heroes. But people move on, and I lost contact, so now we've suddenly reestablished contact. So.
This is perfect.
Yeah,
the scheming begins.
Yeah, Dan, we're going to be talking. Yeah.
Well, the one thing, of course, when you're a kid, Legos are a big time toy, okay? But now, in our world of Lego, 65% is geared towards adults.
I don't doubt that at all.
65%.
Yeah.
If you go into a big Target now, because Toys R Us is gone, I know a lot of people really hate Toys R Us are gone. We were one of them when they left. Lego was. But when you walk into Target, you got the collectibles, you've got the fan artwork that you could put on walls now. You've got the architecture, the techniques and stuff like that. It's geared towards 16 plus. It's not geared towards a 4-year-old.
Yeah, it's amazing,
Well, I'm going to throw in, for decades in basically the construction, renovation, and architectural business, we've been using Legos for non-entertainment purposes because if you're trying to lay something out and show somebody exactly what you're talking about, building on a relative scale using Legos becomes a skill, a little bit of an art form, and to be perfectly honest, is probably the best way of showing somebody what you're talking about.
Yeah. Hey, Dan, exactly. I think one of the things, too, with Legos is the simple fact that they made them basically indestructible. It takes a lot to hurt a Lego.
It does take
because
a lot.
they could have made it of cheap plastic.
Right.
History would have been
I'm going to be a
different.
little anal here, though, just because I work for Lego. It's not Legos. Right.
Oh,
you
we
cannot
know.
say Legos. You have to say Lego bricks, Lego units, Lego sets. It's not Legos. So I'm just throwing it out there.
When we were partnered up with Lego, they drilled that into my head because I remember making promos and I pluralized one of the Legos and their corporate people said no.
Shredded.
Yeah.
It was hilarious.
Yeah. They went through it. So it's important to do that. So, but Dan, you've got children.
Right.
So do you force this upon them or do they?
No, I don't force it on them. I do have a younger a boy. He's 14, and he's got, I don't know, 3, 4, 5, 6 already built Star Wars. He loves the Star Wars. X-Wing, TIE Fighter, the U-wing. Isn't it the U-wing? Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. I forgot exactly which one.
I thought it's the Y-wing.
But might be the Y-wing.
Well,
the Razor Crest is cool, but, too. Max, you have one of those, right? So, yeah.
My question is, have you thrown the big $799 Millennium Falcon at him yet?
No.
Yeah.
No. Actually, main reason why.
How many bricks are in that one? It's like,
I think that's right at 10,000-ish.
Yeah, all I know is that you have to have a dolly to move it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. The one that's impressive is the Roman Coliseum. If you've ever seen that actually built, I mean, it's right at 13,000 pieces.
Yeah.
Wow,
and to be honest with you, it gets a little annoying because every piece looks the same. So it's boom, boom, boom.
There's
you
no
do the same
difference in
thing.
color.
Yeah. Yeah, you do the same thing over and over for 20 hours.
Wow. It does take some discipline. So, Dan, have you ever gone I've toyed with the notion of maybe making an actual Lego convention out here because I know there's like one in Birmingham. They have them around the country. And a Lego convention might surprise people. It's much different than what you say. It is geared actually towards adults.
It is. It is geared towards adults completely. They want to be able to either collect or even see what's out there that people are making just out of imagination, to be honest with you. I've seen some stuff just in other conventions like Lord of the Rings complete sets.
Yeah, it's like 8 feet tall.
Yeah, exactly. That it blows your mind. It absolutely blows your mind.
And Lego sculptors. I've seen a life-size Iron Man just made out of Lego bricks.
The majority, I've met a couple of them, and the majority of the people that are the quote-unquote Lego sculptors for the company Lego are MIT grads.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I don't doubt it.
Well, when we were first, I guess it was our first year we were doing Bricks and Heroes at MCFC, we had various vendors who were bringing in displays.
Oh, yeah.
And there was, the Hogwarts school at Christmas time.
Yep.
So it's like, he had expanded on the set that you guys put out.
Right.
And then, of course, flocked it all in fake snow.
Yeah.
So it was just awesome, and I was so scared someone's going to bump this and it's going to fall off the table.
Oh, yeah. Big shout-out to Brick Arms, by the way. I know Max is a big fan of Brick Arms, and they now, how do you feel about those guys? Those are ones that they make their own pieces, but they complement Lego, or are these guys like renegades? Or?
In the corporate world for Lego, yes, they are renegades, but me personally, I have no problem with them.
Okay. Well, they're building the brand.
Yeah, exactly. They're building the brand.
They're part of the fan. It's kind of like Star Trek fan fiction. As long as they stay in their lane and they don't do like that Axanar film where they're raising a bunch of money or whatever. So, but it's funny. I don't know how old you are, Dan, but I feel like you're going to be a Lego fan your whole life.
Oh yes, yes, I will.
Do you find it therapeutic? Like, is it relaxing to just sit there and build Legos?
Yeah, it's almost like my mom and dad did puzzles when I was younger. It's very similar to that, just on a bigger scale.
Right. Well, probably a little more expensive.
It's way more expensive. It is way
but
more expensive.
You know what I love about Lego is it's an heirloom toy. We kept the Legos or the Lego from our kids growing up because honestly, they don't break.
No.
Our grandkids, if I ever have grandkids, could use them. They're just generational, and you wonder what the future is going to look like with Lego.
Joe still has one embedded in his foot.
Yeah. Well, that's true. How many of those have you stepped on? Are there Lego-proof socks that could be made?
I have not seen it, but before we go and everything, look what I got here, though.
Yeah. Oh, he's got Lego brick shoes.
Yes, I do.
That plays really well.
That's how you keep it from embedding in your foot. You have the Lego shoes.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That is, I got to admit, that's way too awesome. That is just too cool.
We're visiting with our buddy Dan the Lego Man from the broadcast captain for the Memphis Tigers. It's funny how we didn't even talk about them. Maybe we will when we come back. You're listening to Geek Tank Radio here on News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Geek Tank Radio.
Those of you who volunteered to be injected with praying mantis DNA, I've got some good news and some bad news. Bad news is we're postponing those tests indefinitely. Good news is, we've got a much better test for you. Fighting an army of Mantis men. Pick up a rifle and follow the yellow line. You'll know when the test starts.
News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis.
Right over there on the left, Allan. Just keep walking. And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio. I'm Joe Thorderson, here with my, let me catch my breath, here with my friends Brandon Olmstead, Alan Gilbreth, Allie Diggs, our buddy Max behind the glass, and Dan O'Brien, the Lego man. And we have a secret observer here. Let's just say it. Dan brought his daughter here. She didn't want to give her name, or do you want to give your name?
It's Haley.
Yeah. So everybody's out. I mean, how many more people are we going to shoehorn into this studio? Honestly, you could.
I was going to say, I've got a line outside, but we're running out of airtime.
Yeah. Hey, Dan, we've been talking about Lego, and honestly, we hope you're going to consider yourself a friend of the show because we want you back.
I will.
And let's face it, guys, we're gonna milk this for what it's worth because we now have a connection to the Lego Corporation
I brought
again.
gifts, so it was probably bad for me to bring gifts because y'all will want them every single time.
No.
Oh, okay. Good.
Quarterly.
I was about to say, we're not going to write them off entirely. So, but you brought in some really cool sets. Allie already grabbed that Christmas set.
Yes.
What I noted, Dan, is you brought in 4 sets that have been unopened, and you're not one of these guys that you just buy the set and stick it on your shelf.
No. I do build them. There's a couple sets that I've kept, of course, that I never opened and everything. But you know, most of the time I open and play with them. Toys.
That's what they're
for. Toys
for.
are meant to be played with, and I know some people keep them in wraps and everything, collectors and figurines and stuff like that. But they're meant to be played with.
Right. Yeah. It's interesting. You know, we're living in a time where people buy an action figure and they don't open it.
Right.
It's like I don't know, whatever. But it's not like a stock investment, but it kind of is.
I have so many loose Batman and Gremlin figures all over my office. It's scary.
Yeah. So Dan, there's a few things interesting that are different from when we were kids with Lego. Among them is the sets have gotten way more complex. They have way more a variety of parts and a lot of the minifigs. But I'm kind of curious because one thing that's started to happen over the last few years is you're starting to get Lego sets for shows or movies that aren't necessarily kid-friendly, like the Batman. That may be an R-rated movie.
It might be an R-rated movie, and this is interesting because about 10 years ago, there was a lot of fans of Lego wanted to get into, like, let's say, Army, figurines, Navy, something like that. The Lego way is if it's an IP, like the Batman, like Justice League, like Lord of the Rings, stuff like that. If it's the IP, they're fine with it. But if it is a Lego set that Lego actually makes, Ninjago, Medieval Times, City, the Space Connection, they do not want guns in their sets.
I remember that specifically. Yeah, because we were talking about brick arms earlier, and I think that's where the gray area came in. Yeah,
exactly.
Which we respect because that's cool. These are kids' toys.
Right. You know. I mean, you have to actually have IP there because that's how you grow your audience. With the City, of course, City is huge for Lego. But some of the IP with the Marvel IP this past year and the Harry Potter, we were celebrating 20 years with Harry Potter this past year, and that was huge, absolutely huge for us. But without that IP, we couldn't have grown the company Lego the way it is.
Right. In fact, I think I even saw a Seinfeld set. It's kind of funny.
Oh, yes,
you're getting Friends. You're getting all these ones.
Well, and that's from the Lego Ideas section. If you have an idea for a Lego set, you can actually build it and go to Lego.com, and they will put it on their website. If you have 10,000 likes, you could actually, they will have a competition to see if they will actually build it.
Oh, very cool.
I can't wait to see the Tool Talk set with the live action wall and the sliding ladder going down to the side.
Oh, nice. Yeah, the falling minifig.
Are we going to have a Joe minifig with a removable back brace?
Yes. Yeah. So, Dan, that is, there is just based on, I watch a lot of YouTube. I watch different documentaries. I've watched several on the Lego Corporation, and there seems to be a really interesting culture that they've created over there. So what is that like? It seems very open to innovation.
Oh, it's very open to innovation. Let me tell you what, every single year, y'all would, I feel lucky that I actually work for a company like this. Every single year, we have one day where all they send us Lego, they want us to play for 8 hours and we get paid to do it. Because they want us to actually, they want, as a company, they want us to be able to go out there and say, hey, I love playing. I love still being a kid, to be able to represent the company Lego.
That's cool. Yeah.
I was going to say, Joe, I've seen what you do. And yes, it's a lot of hard work, but it's artistic and creative. Your job is playing.
Yeah. Well,
just on a much larger scale.
Well, but the Lego does it's an interesting crossover because you could call it art. You could definitely call Lego sculptors art.
Oh yes, yeah.
You're dealing with engineering. I'm thinking this has to help kids with geometry and all sorts. I don't know. If you want to be an architect, get yourself a box of Legos. I mean, it's so wide ranging. It's the greatest toy ever created.
Well, I got news for you. You're not going to get through architecture without playing with Lego.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That is almost a guarantee, because when you start doing, and I'm dead serious, when you start doing construction layouts and renovations, and you're trying to show somebody, all right, well, if we take out this wall, all right, we got 3D rendering and that type of stuff, but when you get into the bigger stuff, you start talking double thick walls supporting, or you're trying to explain to students why this is load bearing and non-load bearing. No, I promise you, from my classes that I've taught, nothing beat building it out of Lego bricks.
Yeah. No, they're awesome, and we're all big proponents of getting your kids to turn the TV off and and do something tangible, and there's always a sense of pride. I remember my kids, they would, we'd get them that set that cost $100, and 3 days later they finally got it assembled, and there is a genuine sense of pride.
Yeah, there is. Oh, looking back at the history of Lego, though, this is interesting. Right after World War I, and I will probably, I'm not even going to try and pronounce the owner's name and everything, but it was a toy company, but it was wooden toys.
Right.
And the reason why afterwards he got into plastics afterwards is because his whole company, his whole warehouse went up in flames. So everything that he had went up in flames. So he had to actually, let me think about it. Let's go back to the wheel, basically, and think about a different way on how to actually play.
Now, I didn't know that about the fire. I knew he had to basically restructure. I didn't know it had to do with the giant fire. It had
something in the nature of 4 to 5 different warehouses all together that went up in flames. The early Lego sets, you could actually see it. It was a wooden duck that they were famous for. And
wonder how much those babies are worth now. Wow. It survived the fire. It reminds me a lot of the Chicago fire, because after Chicago burned down, it came back as this really vibrant, innovative, it almost, they called it like it should. They said Chicago should actually be called Phoenix, because it actually really did rise from the ashes. But anyway, if you want to go down some rabbit holes, people definitely jump on YouTube and look up Lego documentaries. They're fascinating.
They're fascinating.
And to go back into rabbit holes, I want to take us on the Wayback Machine and remind you, Joe, of a Geek Tank years back that we did, where in our random roundup, we talked about a guy who was building security walls outside of his house made of Lego.
Oh.
Do you remember him?
That's right. And didn't he build an actual, you've seen this, I'm sure. People have built an actual dwelling.
Yes.
I don't know how much it costs. I guess you could, it's probably pretty well insulated, I guess. I don't know. But I wonder if it would melt eventually with, like, I guess, I don't know.
You always got to bring it down to the negative.
No, I'm just wondering if this is a good building design. It's funny you mention this, though, because I'd like to bring you on Tool Talk Radio as well, Dan, because we're seeing in home construction, honestly, there's new techniques where they're building homes almost exactly like you build a Lego home. Like these are bricks that you stack together.
Yeah, that is completely fascinating.
Yeah.
So pre-assembled stuff, basically.
Yeah, it's basically, imagine a piece of it's insulated. It's wrapped in wood. You basically stack it on they're insulated. They're like a foot by 2 feet or something, and they're like just big bricks that click into place. And so if you want a wall over there, you move the wall. If you want to put make it 10 feet high instead of 8 feet high. It's a modular way of building, and it's very, very strong too. And it's like Legos basically. So,
and for some of the interior walls, they come pre-wired for both high voltage and low voltage.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you need to look into that. It's interesting.
So I have a question.
Yes.
We're going into the holiday season. What is your must-have Lego sets for Christmas?
Ooh. Well, we were talking about the Batman came out. Me personally, I'm an old school DC guy. The Batman 66 Batmobile, I think, is fantastic for any guy about my age. I love Adam West. I think he's the best Batman of all time. So
I can't go with you on that one, but okay. Yeah.
I do. Well, it
The
just,
most entertaining.
That's okay, Joe. You can be wrong.
No.
I think for a guy my age and everything, the Batman 66, I think, is the ultimate gift for anybody.
Oh, that's cool. It is a very noteworthy car. I mean, so hey, real quick, where do you fall on Lego Masters? That's that Lego building competition.
I think it's fantastic in the imagination, and they give them a theme, and then you go with it as quick as possible and everything. I think it's fantastic. I do.
Okay. Hey Dan, do you want people follow? Do you post anything about all your Lego stuff? How do they
I'm on
follow
Twitter.
you?
_Dan O'Brien. I'm on Twitter. A lot of Memphis Tiger stuff, of course, but there is some Lego stuff on there.
Yeah, are we remiss that we didn't even give a shout out to the Tigers? I mean, they're the ones that keep the lights on around here. So. Hey, we
go
do
Tigers,
love you.
go.
Yeah.
There we go.
But Dan, yeah, we're going to have to be getting regular,
that's fine
regular
with me. I'm
reports.
Here. Yes,
so
yes.
This is great, and thanks for the gifts. And Allie, you're going to have to pry that out of her cold dead hands. But very cool sets, man. So maybe we should try to build these and then start posting ourselves, posting some stuff for that. So, but Dan, when you're around the station, it's funny to me because you've got this really fancy title, Broadcast Captain.
Broadcast Captain.
But everybody calls you Dan the Lego Man.
Everybody calls me Dan the Lego Man. I guess I've got a new name around here.
Is that what it's going to say on your headstone?
It might. Dan the Lego Man.
Made of Lego? Hey, maybe that. Not to get too morbid.
We need some granite looking,
Yeah, this is a good way to lock out, right? Yeah, talking about his funeral and all that. But I think there's something there. You could have the most noteworthy gravestone in the art. I don't know. Anyway, forget it. Let's just wrap things up. You've been listening to another weird and action-packed episode of Geek Tank Radio, but it's time to get out of here. So until next week, we are the Geek Patrol, and I am Joe Thorderson.
I'm Dan O'Brien.
I'm Allie Diggs.
I'm Alan Gilbreth.
And I am Brandon Olmstead, challenging you to send us your Lego ideas and sculptures.